topic for today is inhibitors of translation. Antibiotics. Now, what are antibiotics? Antibiotics are medicines that help stop infections caused by bacteria. They do this by killing the bacteria or by keeping them from copying themselves or reproducing. The word antibiotic means against life. Any drug that kills germs in our bodies is technically an antibiotic. Now, before scientists first discovered antibiotics in the 1920s, many people used to die from minor bacterial infections like a strep throat. But after antibiotics became available in the 1940s, life expectancy increased, surgeries got safer, and people could survive bacterial infections which were considered deadly before. Antibiotics are also known as antibacterials, as they are medications that destroy or slow down the growth of bacteria. Antibiotics include a range of powerful drugs that are used to treat diseases mainly caused by bacteria. Now, antibiotic can be bacteriostatic or it can be bactericidal. Bacteriostatic means that the agent will prevent growth of the bacteria, that is, it keeps them in the stationary phase of growth. Bactericidal, on the other hand, means it will kill the bacteria. Now, antibiotics are also classified as narrow spectrum antibiotic or as broad spectrum antibiotics. Narrow spectrum antibiotics are those that target a few types of bacteria. On the other hand, broad spectrum antibiotics target many different types of bacteria. Both types, narrow as well as broad spectrum, work well to treat infections. Now, there are mainly 4 different mechanisms by which antibiotics work. So, mode of action. Antibacterial action generally falls within one of the 4 mechanisms. Now, out of these 4 mechanisms, 3 of the mechanisms involve the inhibition or regulation of enzymes that are involved in the biosynthesis of cell wall of bacterium, in nucleic acid metabolism and repair, or in protein synthesis. The 4th mechanism involves the disruption, the breakdown or the degradation of membrane structure, of the cell membrane structure. In this topic, we are dealing with the inhibition of protein synthesis. So, there are antibiotics which inhibit the mechanism of translation, and thereby the bacterial genome is not able to express and the bacteria will not survive in the cell. So, it will either be not allowed to reproduce or it will be killed by the action of certain antibiotics. So, we will be discussing few classes of antibiotics in this topic. The first one that I am taking up here are aminoglycosides. Aminoglycosides can be natural or they can be semi-synthetic antibiotics which are derived from actinomycetes. Example of aminoglycosides are streptomycin, kanamycin, gentamicin, tobramycin, amikacin, netilmycin, neomycin, which is topical, and fremicetin, which is also topical. Now, how do these aminoglycosides act? Aminoglycosides penetrate the bacterial cell wall to reach the periplasmic space through pore channels by a passive diffusion mechanism. Further transport across the cytoplasmic membrane takes place by active transport with the help of a proton pump, which is an oxygen dependent process. Now once inside the cell, they irreversibly bind to the A site, the amino acyl site, on the 16S rRNA of the 30S ribosomal subunit. So they specifically bind to the 16S rRNA, which is part of the 30S ribosomal subunit. So they will not interfere with the translation process of eukaryotes. They will interfere with the translation process of prokaryotes. Although different aminoglycosides, there are different members of these aminoglycosides, they have got different specificity for different regions of the amino acyl site of the ribosome, but all of them alter its conformation. So once the conformation is altered, the codons of the messenger RNA are misread. So although aminoglycoside class members have a different specificity for different regions on the A site, all alter its conformation, inducing misreading of the messenger RNA codons. Aminoglycosides act against many aerobic and facultative gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, cocci as well as bacilli. But most species of streptococci and anaerobic gram-negative bacilli are resistant to the action of aminoglycosides. Now, because aminoglycosides bind irreversibly to the A site of the 30S ribosomal subunit, they are bactericidal in nature. So they will kill the bacterial cell. The second class is tetracyclines. Tetracyclines are also broad spectrum antibiotics. They are obtained from Streptomyces species, or they can also be prepared, they are also being prepared semi-synthetically, like minocycline and doxycycline. So example of tetracyclines are tetracycline, minocycline, doxycycline. Now how do they act? They reversibly bind to the 30S ribosomal subunit and inhibit the binding of amino acyl tRNA to the A site or the acceptor site on the 70S ribosome. Tetracycline class is bacteriostatic in nature. They act against aerobic gram-positive and gram-negative organisms. But in vivo, many strains have been shown to be resistant to the action of tetracyclines. Next class is spectinomycin. Spectinomycin is an antibiotic produced by Streptomyces spectabilis. It is again a broad spectrum drug which has activity against gram-positive, some gram-negative bacteria, as well as against mycoplasmas. What is the mode of action of spectinomycin? Spectinomycin acts by inhibiting protein synthesis and elongation by binding to the bacterial 30S ribosomal subunit and interfering with the peptidyl tRNA translocation. So translocation, if you remember, we've already done translation. So translocation is the step where the movement has to take place. So that translocation step is inhibited by the action of spectinomycin. Spectinomycin is bacteriostatic in nature. Then we have chloramphenicol, lincomycin and clindamycin. Chloramphenicol is produced by Streptomyces venezuelae, first studied in Venezuela. These diffuse through the bacterial cell wall and bind to the 50S ribosomal subunit. So if you remember, 50S ribosomal subunit is a large ribosomal subunit of prokaryotes, of bacteria. And how do they act? The binding of these antibiotics interfere with the peptidyl transferase activity. So that means the chain of amino acid will not grow, or the chain elongation will be blocked. The binding interferes with peptidyl transferase activity, thereby prevents transfer of amino acids to the growing peptide chain and blocking peptide bond formation. These are broad spectrum antibiotics having activity against gram-positive aerobes and anaerobes, as well as gram-negative anaerobes. It is bacteriostatic in nature. Macrolides examples are erythromycin, azithromycin, and clarithromycin. Macrolides bind again to the 50S ribosomal subunit, and their mode of action is they block translocation and peptide movement through the exit tunnel of the ribosomes. They prevent the action of peptidyl transferase enzyme. So they prevent peptidyl transferase from adding the growing peptide attached to the transfer RNA to the next amino acid. The action of macrolides inhibits cell growth, but at high concentrations they cause cell death. So at low concentrations they are bacteriostatic in nature. At high concentration they are bactericidal in nature. They are bacteriostatic in susceptible organisms and are active against aerobic gram-positive cocci and gram-negative bacilli, but anaerobic gram-negative organisms are resistant to the action of macrolides. Fusidic acid is derived from a fungus, that is Fusidium coccineum. It inhibits protein synthesis by binding to EFG. EFG is the translocase. So EFG GDP complex is inhibited by the binding of fusidic acid, resulting in inhibition of both peptide translocation as well as ribosome disassembly into small and large subunits. It is a narrow spectrum antibiotic and is active against gram-positive bacteria like Staphylococcus and Streptococcus species. Fusidic acid is bactericidal in nature. Then we have cycloheximide. The cycloheximide is a naturally occurring fungicide which is produced by the bacterium Streptomyces griseus. Cycloheximide blocks the elongation phase of eukaryotic translation. So this is acting against eukaryotic translation. It binds to the ribosome and inhibits elongation factor 2 mediated translocation. So EF2 is the translocase in the protein biosynthesis of eukaryotic system. The cycloheximide has been widely used in biomedical research to inhibit protein synthesis in eukaryotic cells studied in vitro. Cycloheximide is inexpensive and works rapidly, and its effect can be easily reversed by simply removing cycloheximide from the culture medium. So these are some antibiotics which will work either against the prokaryotic translation system or cycloheximide that works against the eukaryotic translation system. Thank you.